I've got the MMT Heiken Ashi indicator on the chart. This puts several different custom Heiken Ashi logics based off of Heiken Ashi candlesticks and displays those logics onto the candle color of the regular candlesticks. So I can see what's going on with the Heiken Ashi and also be able to see the regular candlesticks. I've also got some special price action signals on here, and then I've got some special ways to use the trend and reversal indicator. This is the price action from Monday. If you are interested in seeing how this strategy plays out in the live markets, check out some of my many live trading videos where I show recaps of my live trade sessions and explain exactly why I took every single trade. The live trade videos have some of the best information in them, even though they have some of the least amount of views on YouTube. But there are countless real-life examples of all these different methods and strategies that I use, available for your viewing pleasure. This is the exact same chart setup on a 2000 tick NQ chart. See, we're getting some great signals from these ADX dots, catching the tops and the bottoms pretty well there. This is the RSI reversal signal from the trend and reversal. This is an MMT delta bars chart. You can see the ADX dots doing their job quite well. This is a 200 and 200 delta bars chart in the style of the original delta bars before I added the trend and reversal categories. If you want the OG style of delta bars, just put the exact same number in the trend and also the reversal parameters. If you want to play around with some more Renko style delta bars, you can have the trend and reversal be different numbers. Here's the 50 and the 200. So here's some of the price action from today with those settings. Between 10 and 10:12, this is 12 minutes of price action. Got a nice RSI reversal there and an ADX dot off of these key levels. And I love looking for wicks on the delta bars. See a big wick on this candle, nice down move. Getting a nice size wick there, crossing above the 20, nice up move. Another nice big wick there, right off of the 20 SMA, nice down move. The delta bars are a bar type based completely off of delta. Here's the same setup on a NINZA Renko chart. ADX dots continue to crush it. This Heiken Ashi setup is keeping the downtrend even with these little upward blips on the Renkos. This is one of my favorite kind of higher time frame NINZA Renko setups for the NQ. Brick size of 55 and a trend threshold of 21. These are Fibonacci numbers. I like throwing Fibonacci numbers into the Renkos. So here we are back at the 1 minute chart. I'm going to go over exactly how I trade this setup. And this is the first candle of the New York Open. And while we've got a few signals, the actual first time I might be interested in taking a trade would be right here at the break of the low of this candle. I've got a full-bodied candle that is straddling the upper Bollinger line here, signified by this pink arrow. Then I've got a big wick on this candle that is also straddling the upper Bollinger Band, signified by this white diamond. I've also got an ADX dot from the trend and reversal indicator. But when any of these signals appear, I'm waiting for confirmation before I get into a trade. So when I get this double signal on this candle, looking at the candle, if I'm really going to go short, I want it to break below the low of this trigger candle. And I also want to make sure that there's enough room in between these key levels to take my profit. If we're butting up right against a key level, I want to make sure it breaks below that key level before I get into the trade. With this signal, we're butting up right against VWAP, and our Heiken Ashi candles are still green. Here we've got an ADX dot, nice wick on this candle. It's a slowdown candle on the Heiken Ashi. Maybe if I was trading more aggressively, I might take a scalp if we broke below the 20 SMA, which is this white dashed line. There's just about 10 points of room down to the 250 SMA. That trade would have worked out. Now we're getting the trend change on the Heiken Ashi, and we've got a nice close below the 20 SMA, and we're just starting to close below the 250. So I might be looking for a short once we break below this candle, which is also the low of the 15-minute opening range. And 2 minutes later, we do get that break. I'm looking for my usual 5 to 10 point scalps, or to possibly target the next key level, which in this case was an MMT volume line from the MMT key levels. These are special volume lines of high interest that are automatically plotted by the MMT key levels indicator. You can see we came right down to that line and bounced right back up to the 250 SMA. But taking a break below this first red candle here, we got 25 points of possible scalpage on the break in less than 1 minute here. Next signal is an ADX dot to the upside. We're in Heikin-Ashi wickless mode to the downside. If I'm going to take a counter trend trade, it would be best to wait until we went out of wickless mode or into slowdown mode or had a large shift in delta. However, we are wicking off of this key level, which is the current day open and also yesterday's close. And we filled the tiny little gap between the yesterday's close and the overnight open. So after the second ADX dot, delta's kind of drying up, taking a break above this candle. There's nothing really in the way until the 15-minute low here. And we're now out of the wickless mode. We've just got a regular red candle. And there's hardly any delta coming through to the downside. So if I was looking to counter trend trade, that could be a good opportunity. Here we get some nice delta coming into the upside. But we've got kind of a wick on this delta. And we're butting up right against the 20 SMA and the 250 SMA. I'd want it to break above both of those levels before I considered a long. You can see we reject off of that area. But now we're getting a bullish candle with this big wick here, still in slowdown mode. When we do break above these two key levels, the 20 SMA and the 250 SMA, we've got some more bullish delta coming in. And we've got enough room to take a scalp back up to VWAP and the center of the 15-minute opening range. There's 12 or 13 points available up to VWAP. And this candle, very nice wick right off of VWAP and the center of the 15-minute opening range. We also have an ADX dot to the downside, and delta is decreasing. So I'd be waiting to see if price came below the 20 SMA, which it does on this candle. We also have a lot of strong delta to the downside. If we enter in on the break, put our stop above the trigger candle, we do make it down to the next key level, and that's 30 points right there between the break of the 20 and the overnight open. So we get the Heikin-Ashi turning red here. Got some strong delta, but I'm looking at this candle. That's a big wick on the bottom. As far as price action goes, I'm not super excited to get into a short right there. Unless maybe we'd break lower, but then we've got yesterday's close right in the way. You can see we get a rejection right off of yesterday's close. Right back up to this special volume level from the key levels indicator, which has come into play yet again today, as well as back here pre-market. Another rejection, and now that we're breaking through, it's acting as resistance. Just one of the many amazing key levels included with the MMT key levels indicator. So this candle, full-bodied candle to the downside. Delta is increasing, a lot of strong delta. We're buttoned up against yesterday's close. I'd want to see it break below yesterday's close. Depending on how far I was waiting for the break below, I might or might not have got into a trade when we dip down on the next candle. I've got my stop above the top of the trigger candle. You see we get a little pullback, but we do make it down to the next key level, which was a previous day VWAP close. This light blue line, this is part of the MMT VWAP indicator, which is not currently out, but should be soon. There's over 15 points of possible scalping opportunity to this key level. We do get some strong delta on this candle, but the Heikin-Ashi is red. In fact, it's gone into wickless mode to the downside. And just looking at the previous candles, this delta does not overtake the cumulative buildup in the past 5 minutes. Needless to say, I might be shaking in my boots when I saw that. On this candle, the strong delta is resuming to the downside. Be looking for a break below this key level. We've got plenty of room to the next key level. This time we get a 50-point drop in 2 minutes. We come right down to these two key levels, which is a previous day VWAP close and also a previous day point of control. And that's where we bounce from. We got an ADX dot. We got some delta picking up to the upside. We wanted to take a break above this candle. We do make it up to the previous key levels. And with this candle back here, if you saw this delta, you'd still be waiting for confirmation if you're going to take a long. So you'd be waiting for a break above this candle. Price does not break above that candle. no trade. Waiting for confirmation is one of the best ways to keep yourself out of potential bad trade entries. We got a lot of slowdown Heiken Ashi candles for the rest of the morning. I only trade the first hour of the New York Open usually. So let me show you what these settings are. For the ultimate delta, I've got my usual settings that I always have for the NQ 1 minute chart of 100, 200, and 300. I've got the level colors being applied to the histogram down here. I do have the bars and the outlines enabled for the delta candles, and this is printing on each tick. So with the MMT Heiken Ashi, I've got this set up to print on bar close. So you can see in between the candles, as the candles are still forming, I've got the ultimate delta printing the candle color live in real time as the candle is forming, so you can see the delta. This matches up with the delta on the histogram. It's painting it the same color. And then once this candle closes, the Heiken Ashi will take over and paint it the color of the Heiken Ashi. For the MMT Heiken Ashi, I'm using the custom input series. It's usually default, which is the close of price, your standard Heiken Ashi. What I have is a custom Heiken Ashi and EMA baby. EMA, Heiken Ashi coming together, popping out their own love child all over the charts. I've got the EMA set to a period of 3. So for the Heiken Ashi candles, I've got the slowdown mode enabled. I've got both logics turned on. So if the wicks are too big or the body size is too small, you'll get those slowdown candles. And these are the default settings that are included with the indicator. I've got the Heiken Ashi wickless enabled, default settings, just the candles activated, not the outline. And I've got the Heiken Ashi core section activated, default settings, got the candles and the outline activated. For the MMT price action, I've got the boner candles and I've also got the wicks. The boner candles have a girth of 48 and the wick size is a 36. Then I've got the Bollinger filter turned on for both of those. And I've changed the Bollinger period to a 30 and the standard deviation to a 3. So this is only going to catch extreme signals. For the ADX dots, this is from the trend and reversal indicator. I've got the ADX as my input series. I've changed the period of the ADX to 50. And these dots are printed by the trend flow section. I've got a strength of 5. I've got the directional filter on. SMA filter is off. I've got the signal dots enabled. And I'm not using anything else on the trend and reversal indicator. I do have another instance of the trend and reversal on the chart. It's got an input series of the RSI. I'm just having it print the reversal signals. We did not get any during the New York Open today. Just got one in pre-market. So there's some more potential settings you could play around with. And here is a 5-minute chart with the same setup. So we're getting some good signals from the ADX dots. I've got an RSI reversal signal here. I've got a double price action signal here, boner candle and a big wick off of the extreme Bollinger Band settings. For the MMT Heiken Ashi settings, I'm going to want to change these settings depending on what time frame and what instrument I'm trading, especially the slowdown settings. These are the settings I like for a 1-minute NQ, but you'll probably want to make these settings less for an ES chart. I think for the ES I use maybe a 10 and a 2 on the 1 minute. For the 5-minute, I really haven't even played around with the 5-minute using the Heiken Ashi, but I'm guessing I'd want to make these a little bit higher there. So 40 and 10 seems to be a decent setting for the 5-minute. You know, we get a green Heiken Ashi closing above the 20 SMA there. Taking a break above, we push back up to VWAP. Here we get a red Heiken Ashi, but no close lower, so no trade. Another red Heiken Ashi, taking a break below, we make it down to the next key levels. But that's how I find the optimal settings. I just start typing in numbers, clicking apply, doing my own back testing. I created these indicators for my own personal trading, and also just to be able to have these logics on an indicator where I can play around with the settings and I can continually find better and better setups. There's an infinite amount of possibilities that I have not even thought of. These indicators are tools that can help you visualize your own strategies and your own ideas. Lots of different customizable settings. I highly recommend that you play around with all the settings and do your own back testing and find things that work best for the instrument and the time frame that you trade. There's links to all those fun toys in the description. I hope you got some good ideas for your own trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.